Hello, everybody. Dr. Kritzer back with you for Advanced Google Analytics. We're in Unit 2, Part 1, and we're going to talk about audience reports this time. And we're going to get deep into what is available with audience reports. Of course, we come to the first one, which is the overview. And there's a lot that you can see from the overview, such as the all of the various users, and you can separate the users if you wish by clicking on the various metrics for active users, past users, new users, and the page views, the bounces. Pay attention to the bounces. When a person bounces from your site, what causes that to happen? And also, again, on the overview, you can check out the various demographics such as language and the locations, the devices used, as well as the various browsers used. Because keep in mind that Chrome doesn't act the same as perhaps Safari or Firefox. When you look at the active users report under audience, this will give you an indication of how you're doing presently with your site and what are your various page views and conversion rates presently with your active users. Now, if you really want to get deep into what your website perhaps has to offer and who you could perhaps attract to your website, there's something called demographics and interests that you can enable for your website. If you go into the property settings under admin for your website, you can enable demographics and interests. And it so happens that the Google Store will allow you to do that for their site as well. And you really can get a good feeling for what various parts of various communities that are attracted to your website, what attracts them, what their interests are. So enable that feature. And here, for example, is a demographic overview of the age groups that of your users. Very interesting that and an easy to understand display. The interests of your users and from the various, where do they come from, what industries do they come from, and click on some of these categories and get a better idea of what they have to tell you. Again, if you click on geo under your audience, you're going to get an idea of the location and the languages used by the various people in your that come to your website, and you can click on these various regions and various countries and get information by region. Keep in mind that not every country has the same language across each country. And pay attention to the various rates of people come to your website, the bounce rates, what keeps them there, the conversion rates. Some places might be doing better than others and have a reason for you to look to improve them. You can also get even further information by looking at the various cities of your new users, your active users, your returning users. You can get much more in-depth detail and how they're interacting and your conversions, comparing the new users versus returning users. What are you doing now that's working Or what were you doing that was working better? And then you can also compare your site and how it's doing with various browsers. Again, not all browsers are equal, and then you can click on these various browsers and get uh, an idea for how each of them are doing. And the same is true. You can get information on devices. We all use different devices: laptops, iPods, desktops, phones, different phones, Android, various devices, and not all of them are doing perhaps as well as others are doing. And you need to take a look at why that's occurring. Now, you need to go back through the master view on your audience reports and go through that and click and get to know this version of reports intimately, most on using the master view for the Google's merchandise store as well as your website, and take a look at all the information, click around, change some of the formats so that you become more familiar with the audience reports. And I will be back with you again for Unit 2, Part 2.